All right, so the Padres, they've lost 4 in a row now. They lose game 1 to the Giants, and there's going to be a lot of talk about the interference where Elliot Ramos in left field, Bogarts hits a home run, we thought. Ball goes off Ramos's glove into the seats, and then it gets called back, though, and it's called interference. And there was the rule that was posted on social media. I want to say it was AJ Cassavell posted something about it. I know Jim Russell posted stuff about it as well. And so I will read that to you. Let me find the one that Jim posted. Um, Definition: in every case of spectator interference with a batted or thrown ball, the ball shall be declared dead and the base runners can be placed where the umpire determines they would have been without the interference. When a spectator clearly prevents a fielder from catching a fly ball by reaching onto the field of play, the batter shall be ruled out, but no interference is called if a spectator comes in contact with a batted or thrown ball without reaching onto the field of play, even if a fielder might have caught the ball had the spectator not been there. So in this case, the umpires looking at the review thought that the fan reached over the wall into the field of play, and therefore that's where the interference came in. I did see Darnay Tripp post a very slow-mo version of it where the left arm, I think, of the fan, maybe the ball grazed it, maybe, and that changed it slightly. But in the moment, I'm like, how the heck is this interference? Because from the replays we were seeing, like, you can't see that unless you really slow it down that it hits his arm. Now, the umpires, the review team in New Jersey, they totally could have slowed it down that slow and saw it. But I think just a lot of Padres fans in that moment, and baseball fans in general, were confused how that is interference when they didn't touch the ball, and Ramos, the ball hit his glove, and he just botched it. But I'm at the end of the day, like after seeing rules and replays and the very slow mo, I'm fine with it being called interference. Still not happy with the offense. Like at the end of the day, that's what that is. And then obviously 1 run there. That's the difference in this game, 4-3. It's not even just that though. Like Nestor sucked at the beginning of this game. The guy was throwing meatball. It was batting practice up there. You go look at the replays, it looks like he's just throwing batting practice. The velocity, he doesn't have velocity, and they just look like meatballs up there. So, yeah, watching the beginning of this game, I'm like, all right, great start. And then it happens again. I'm like, seriously? And then again, Wilmer Flores goes yard. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, this is actually happening right now? So that was off to a great start. It was 4-0 before the Padres came to the plate. And that's that. I think Mike Schilt looks pretty stupid today. I'm a fan of Schilty. But when you reply to a valid question from, I think it was AJ Cassavell today, about why Ryan O'Hearn wasn't in the lineup, because think about it. Jackson Merrill's out. So are you going to put Bryce Johnson in the lineup, or are you going to put Ramon Laureano in center, have O'Hearn play left? Maybe you could do it that way. Today, they also decided to have Manny have a day off of his feet when they could have put O'Hearn DHing. And instead, they have Iglesias in there playing third. So where's Ryan O'Hearn, who is better against lefties, OPS-wise, I'm pretty sure, than Iglesias, at least entering today. And O'Hearn comes in and pinch hits for Crony, who got hit today. Didn't feel very good. We'll see if he ends up playing tomorrow. And then what happens? He comes through with a huge home run to make it a 1-run game. Ryan O'Hearn has an 829 OPS. You acquired this guy, this all-star caliber player, to have more at-bats than what he's getting. So every time a left-hander's on the mound, you're just not going to start him. You'd rather start Bryce Johnson in center field. And maybe AJ Cassavell wrote about this. Part of the argument is you can have your best defensive outfield for Nestor Cortez, who's a contact guy, ball goes in the air. Okay. And I tweeted this. Okay, that's fine. But then once you're chasing 4 runs, I think your defense shouldn't be the priority in that situation. your team in general is having a hard time scoring runs. You're down by 4, and Bryce Johnson comes up to the plate with a guy on base. Crony was on first. I know he wasn't in scoring position, but still, would I rather have Bryce Johnson take that at bat? And he got out, by the way. Or would I rather have Gavin Sheets or Ryan O'Hearn? I'd rather have those guys with the bat in their hands. I just would. So, Schilt, by the way, replying to AJ Cassavell today, and when Ryan O'Hearn homered, I just posted the quote as the caption. Where would you have started him? Is what Mike Schilt asked back, I believe, to AJ Cassavell today before the game. Where would you have started him? I don't know, Schilty. Anywhere. Find a place for him. Left field. Put Ramon in center. I don't know. Anywhere. DH. Manny can't go one. He can't DH tomorrow. He had to DH today. I would just find a solution to get a guy who has a OPS over 800. I would find a way to get him in the order. Maybe that's just me. It's not just me because I know there's a lot of Padres fans that, like today, and sometimes like the Padres, they win these battles, right? Between fans and the Padres, lineup decisions, in-game decisions, stuff like that. Today, fans won because fans are like, where's Ryan O'Hearn? Where is he in this lineup? Why is he not in this lineup? And Schilt replies that to a reporter, trying to pin it back on them. And then later in the game, O'Hearn homers. I'd like him to get more at-bats. To support my point, I probably should look up the OPSs against left-handers. Let's look at the splits here. 2025 splits. Jose Iglesias versus left-handers. His OPS is 732. Ryan O'Hearn versus left-handers, 879. But yeah, let's put Iglesias in the lineup. Let's put Bryce Johnson. And again, like if you're going to go with defense because it's Nestor on the mound, okay. But don't wait as long. I know the spot that happened and Schilt wasn't managing. It was Esposito because Schilt got thrown out because he came out of the dugout to ask for an explanation on why that review decision was made, which I think is so stupid anyway. Like, if the manager's not really pissed off and yelling at you, you should allow him to come out and just have an explanation. Like, maybe New Jersey got a camera angle that we didn't see that wasn't shown on the Jumbotron at Petco. And if that was the case, then I think Schilt would be more understanding. And it would be like, okay, can't do anything about that. But to just throw, I know it's the rule, but just to have to throw a manager out when he just comes out just to ask, like, I think that's stupid. If the manager's like pissed off at you when you have nothing to do with it, like, okay. But I think a manager should be able to go out there and talk, which is literally what Schilt was just going to do. It was probably going to be a 30-second conversation, and then he'd walk away. That's all. But it was Esposito that was managing at the time. O'Hearn, I just think, or Sheets, should have been in the game earlier. But O'Hearn, he has fine numbers against left-handed hitters. Left-handers, this is in comparison. Lefties versus righties. He actually has a higher OPS against lefties this year than he does against righties. 879 OPS against lefties, 817 against righties. His average is higher, 279 compared to 274. All of those numbers, on base, slug, they're all higher compared to versus righties. So it's a little confusing. And like Ryan O'Hearn, he was a rental. You gave up a good amount of talent to get the talent of Ryan O'Hearn. And instead, it's just the talent of O'Hearn and Laureano. But this guy was an all-star this year, and now you're just saying, oh, yeah, he's a good option off the bench. Like, come on. I thought you required the guy to play him. And yeah, your bench is stronger for sure. But I think I want my all-star, the guy that has an OPS over 800. I think I want that guy in the lineup, 4 times at least a game, not coming in one situation. The home run was great. Great. Yep. But you're giving him more opportunities to help you when you give him more at bats. I know that's Captain Obvious, but it's a little irritating because like he hits the home run, and I know he got out that last at bat, but like just you give him more opportunities, he's probably going to come through more. And when you lose by 1 run, I know you can look at the interference, and obviously we got to blame Nestor too. Like you got to be better than that. Um, but I also look at questionable lineup decisions.